Hi, this is Mia. I'm multitasking. I have a, oh shoot, did my DEA expire? Oh crap. 10/13, no, 2020. Professional license. Did my DEA registration expire? Oh my god. Now this is the old one. 2018. I don't know. Okay, so I gotta do the expiration date 2021. This one's 2021. I'm doing the CAQH from my medical thingy. I gotta change the date on this. I gotta find a copy of my DEA license. Oh, and there's this cutting into my Judge Judy recording. Oops. Let's pause it. I'll just say continue. I gotta do my DEA. Let's see if I can find the date. So expired 2018. They should have told me this. How do you find out? Let's see. I might have it on. I don't think I have a copy of it. Actually, I think I do. What did I do with the copy? It should be up, but I can't do a lot of prescriptions while I'm like, oh my gosh. I think it's good for 3 years. Let's see if it's on Google Drive. So this video, I'm multitasking because I feel like it's urgent. I wanted to do this on my Tower Health, my clinic website. Let's see if I can find it. It's probably not in that. It's probably different. TowerHealth1@gmail.com is my email for my Google stuff for my business. Let's see if I can find my picture, my DEA certificate, or picture or something. If not, I'm gonna be struggling here. Okay, let's see if I can look it up. There's a way to go online. Someone said the price just went up a lot, and I was like, thinking in my mind, like, oh shoot, what just happened? Some people are like, oh, if you renew it before the price, before the price goes up, you'll be in good shape because it's good for it's like $700-800. I don't even have DEA on my thing. It's one big idea. That was a group I was in. Let's see. Well, I have in my Gmail account, I have DEA emails. Let's see, so I have a whole bunch of them. Resume, DEA, Medicaid assistance. These are 2019. So if I got it I would have got it in 2018. So it should be good to 2021. Let's just look us up. They send you notices about stuff. Let's see if they have a link to their website. I don't even know. A provider. Let's look myself up. I didn't think about that. Not required, or it's required. Oh, great. Wait, do I need all of these? Something. Okay, let's see if I have it. Because of COVID, I have been scrambled into doing things in more than one place and not having access to certain items. And this is It's a survival. So I was watching Full Spectrum Survival yesterday with Brad and his wife Kelly, and they were on. If you see the recording at 7, oh, the news is still going. So there's a bunch of money. Alright, good. I have my number. And there were some viewers asking about last name or business name. Let's do my business name, see if that works. So I never know how to put hyphen under my name or not. Let's see what it says. I'm gonna wash my hair. I only did a rinse with no registration. Maybe what if it expired and I forgot to back then? Let's try it like this with my last name. Oh, thank God. Oh, woo! 7/31/2021. We're gonna print this, guys. I got my bag. I packed up my bag. So I'm in the quarantine jail right now. So let me leave that on because I'm drying clothes. I'm in the quarantine, guys, because of the COVID from the post office job. I just started working last week. Actually, I worked almost exactly 2 weeks, so Monday through Saturday, and then the next week I worked Monday through. I was gonna go to work on Friday, and they called a couple hours. I was trying to rush home and get a nap because I had been up working all night, and I had to go to another job by 6:30 a.m. It was a mess. Alright, so we're going to print this and save it. So I'm going to do Control P. I'm actually going to save it first. I don't know why I didn't have my business. If you have more than one location, you need to do your DEA at each location, and it's like $700-800. So if you think of a doctor that works, or a physician assistant, or a nurse practitioner, or someone that works in a clinic, a lot of stuff is paid for by the clinic, the DEA, the continuing education units, the license, maybe malpractice insurance. You show up as an employee, they tell you when to come, you get insurance, or you might get health insurance, you may or not, you get hours, you get a wage, you get vacation, you get Social Security paid for so that your employee. Sometimes someone could be an independent contractor, like in the alternative health. There's a lot of people that get up, go to work, and they show up at the office. It looks the same, but some of those people are independent contractors that have to pay their own taxes, all their own fees, licensing. So you think about those people that are making the big bucks per hour, per year, 6 figures, and you think of someone little like me that's treating patients and doing a lot of care, and you talk to their other providers that see them for 3 minutes, and, oh my gosh, thank you so much for helping your client. I can't believe the doctor's calling, trying to straighten this out, trying to help with this, trying to make an appointment for the person you wait on hold for 47 minutes. And, like, yeah, and I didn't get paid a penny for that. Like, I didn't get paid for the activity. And sometimes I get paid, sometimes I don't. A lot of more times than not, I don't get paid. And I'm able to run an entire clinic as though it was a non-profit, volunteer, like, free clinic or something. Oh, sliding scale free clinic. A few people, 1 out of every 100 you get paid for. You're working 99% free. You get no federal funding. You're not a qualified health provider because, say, that certain district or that certain area, you're not allowed to prescribe certain meds. So it's like, in order to have a clinic where you're getting funding, rural health clinic, all stuff, it's like, oh, you need to have a midwifery service. Well, I could do that, but I haven't got a certificate, but it's in a different jurisdiction. It's like, I have the ability to do it, but you haven't opened up the rules so that I can do what I have formerly been trained, pass my national board exams, and maintain my license and my qualifications, that I can do this stuff, but you're restricting me from doing it because of letters after my name. And I have been overtaught. I have allowed myself to be excessively trained. Some of the training you pay for. Some of the training you don't get. A lot of it you don't get paid for. It's either you pay. I was figuring out what was like $100 a month for one of our clinic shifts, or $100 a week, $100 a week to treat patients for free. And a week means for 4 hours. So you're paying $25 an hour to treat patients. And then when you get your own license, you're working for free. Now, if I had signed up and said, I'm going to do this, ABC, they're having health fair, and I'm going to work for free for 3 days, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for the community, and I chose to do it, that's one thing, And if you say, oh, I want to work once a week in this, clinic for homeless people, or to volunteer my time or whatever, you choose to do it. But when you think you're going to get paid, you're going to pay the house, or the clinic space, all of your equipment, your medical equipment, your licensing fees, your liability insurance, your malpractice insurance. You got the phone line, you got the fax line, you have whatever else. If you have an accountant, if you have to pay for your business account, bank account, if you have to pay monthly fees, if you have to pay for a whole bunch of stuff I probably forgot about, equipment, printer, ink. If you see a patient and you don't get paid, you don't know you're getting paid if you're billing insurance, or you don't know if their insurance. You can find out, their insurance got cut off, but these people are refusing to go to a hospital, a doctor, and they know that I don't charge them, and it's urgent, and I'm going to help them. And they might go to the pharmacy and say, I'll pay the pharmacy if my insurance gets cut off, but they're not going to pay Dr. Mia, right? And so it's frustrating in some ways to think that it's so. First, do no harm. I've had people refuse to go to the emergency room. The first do no harm is like, these people are not going to be well. They got the community members helping them, their children helping them, checking to make sure they're alive, they're not going to emergency. I mean, you could walk away. The people have done this at births where they walk away and said, I'm down 911 on the way out. You're choosing not to go to the emergency room. I'm willing to go, or to the hospital. I'm willing to go with you. This is emergency. They can say, I'm down on the ambulance. And then what? I don't know. Okay, so let's pull up this. I just pulled this up, but let's pull it up again. Okay, so this is, it doesn't even have the date on it. I'll just say 7/31/21. So I'll be expecting a bigger bill according to my colleagues. There we go. And then, do they want a picture of it? Let's see, continue. Okay. Correct errors. Location. Practice location. Let's see what it says. That's correct. Yes. I see patients at least 1 day a week, so they're changing this thing up. The address is correct. Oh, I put the second one on there. Okay, so I need to do an attestation. I didn't know what that word. I never heard that word until I went I became a doctor. I don't have any admitting privileges or arrangements, which sucks. Okay, you must do attestation, or you made changes, but my attestation, so if you let this expire, I don't think you can, the insurance that uses a CAQH, I don't know what that means. I don't think you can get insurance. You have to, I don't know, there's some weird things about this thing. They will also help you get direct deposit payments instead of checks. And I think some of that stuff you get money taken out if you get a paper check. I haven't had patients from those certain things. I've set up direct deposit. I got a lot of stuff that so basically, let's talk about contracting, 1099. If you're taking Medicaid or insurance, I've never taken other insurance, but you're basically getting a 1099 for Medicaid at the end of, or at the beginning of the year, January, or whatever. I put T like all over the face. All right, so we're gonna go with the prepping because that's what I was trying to multitask. Whoa. Okay, I got small honey. To start with this, so I'm not vegan because I use bee products, which includes raw honey. I just bought 2 beeswax candles. It's actually 3. I got a pine scented one and another 2 candles. I have bee pollen. I have propolis. Where's my propolis? I have propolis, bee pollen, and royal jelly mixed together. Is there one? There's one more product in there. I keep touching the remote. I have leather shoes. I will buy leather shoes. Like my work needed leather. 2 of my jobs needed leather shoes. You can get vegan. I never had the vegan leather. They're really expensive. I don't know how long they last. I heard that there's some new ones. I said something on YouTube once on a comment like, "Oh, I'm mostly vegan except I wear leather clothing." They're sending me a link to a video ad for some vegan leather, not like a certain thing. I don't know how, like, I think of not vegan leather when you think of a purse that's made out of fake leather and it wrinkles up and falls apart and bubbles and it falls apart and you're like, this sucks. So the handle, maybe part of the purse's leather and the handle, the strap is fake leather and it just falls off. Like the strap just breaks and you're like, that's lame. Like, or you got a belt, one side is leather and one side is vinyl or whatever they use, polypropylene or whatever. And that part gets all cracked and starts. My daughter had something like that. She was getting these black pieces of plastic all over her abdomen, and then she realized her belt was dry rotting or falling apart, and I was like, oh my god. So I mostly did vegetarian because I don't drink milk. I was doing aged cheese, like raw cheese or aged cheese or Parmesan, like cave aged Gruyere. I went off of dairy because I had acne and a bunch of acne scars. Acne is one thing, with the dark pigmentation on my skin, the pigmented acne scars. I was trying to think about dating, and well, I had thought about dating, but I was trying to think about doing the same thing, expecting different results. Nobody's interested in me, and I know in high school I used to be on three-way calling, and boys would say that they didn't like me because I had black spots all over my face, and that's probably different than the freckles. I didn't get those till after 18 or 18 plus years old. So the preppers and some of these people were talking about, is there any vegans? And they're trying to give some channels of people that are vegan preppers. And I have seen some, and you could think of a normal vegan having, let's work with a pantry. Let's just say, and I don't have one. Let's work with a pantry. You got tomato sauce, you got canned corn, you got potatoes, you got sugar, you got flour. You might have a dairy substitute. For instance, I bought a rice dream, it came in 3 packs for my boyfriend, and now I realize we don't really have any cereal or stuff. I was like, oops. Or you could do egg substitute, or you could use flax seeds and stuff to kind of glue cookies or whatever together with like egg helps glue stuff, you put egg on the chicken when you're doing the batter, milk, egg, and flour and seasoning. So for me, it's hard to say mostly vegan, but if you say raw foodist, people assume you're vegan. And I was eating aged cheese and homemade buffalo jerky when I was doing raw non-vegan. I was putting buffalo jerky in the dehydrator. I don't know if I'd ever do that again. If the stuff hit the fan, or I was sick, or I felt like I had low iron, I'd consider doing game meat. I went to a food pantry the other day. There was venison in bags. They gave us at least 4. I hope they did. I might have to send my partner back to get some more venison. Olive oil. So I was thinking of a regular cooked food when I was talking about cooked food vegan versus raw foodist versus raw vegan, raw vegetarian, raw. Some people do raw eggs. They get out in the morning. You see on these people putting eggs in a cup and drinking none of that stuff. That's considered raw. Some people say raw is something absolutely not processed. No olive oils, no fermented. They're just like they need fruits and vegetables. I keep forgetting about these mushrooms that are in here. Oh, I should have seared that meat. Oops. I feel bad now. I should have gotten a pan and seared this meat before I put it in the water. Oh well, it's gonna be what it is. Maybe I could sear it afterwards. You know what I had to do afterwards? I had to broil some of it. Like, cut some slices and put it on in some foil. Like, make like a little, how you wrap a filet mignon with bacon. Like, wrap it with foil and broil that part, take it out, flip it over, broil that other part. I don't know. My boyfriend doesn't like food like that because it's carcinogenic. Anyways, that's a different story. So I hadn't taken supplements for years until 2020 or 2019 when I started vitamin D again because I was just feeling really crappy. And it's interesting to go to doctors and have new patient appointments and annual appointments and not have a blood work done, or in fact, I don't even know if they did my vitamin D. I need to check. So there's a lot of things going on with supplements. They could be like my Calmade, which is lavender oil. The capsule is gelatin, and there's some magnesium stearate is often pork. It could be beef. There could be vegetable. So there's different things that they coat or use as fillers in tablets or capsules that are not vegan. There's a lot of stuff that says this contains dairy, and you look at the list and it just looks like a bunch of chemicals. It's not like it says lactose or, casein or, milk derived. It's like a chemical. So sometimes when you had been doing like me, after the car accident when I was having this corn allergy, anaphylaxis from corn, after the car accident, and one day I had made a list of corn-derived products that are in medications, and like microchromulose and, like I said, magnesium stearate. I had like a list of 100 things that had corn, and I went through all of my vegetarian or vegan supplements from reputable companies, and pretty much 100% of them I had thrown out. I don't know if I could handle. I had a whole bag. I started bawling. I don't know if I actually threw them out. I threw out some. I probably threw them out. Some of them I just put in the closet on the floor. Like, there's a closet by the front door that doesn't get heat because it's got 2 walls to the outside, and it's at the bottom of the stairs, and then the heater's that forced air vent. It's usually a very cold. It's like put it in the like cellar closet, So that was corn. So it's like I was avoiding corn, but I would do buffalo jerky and I would do dry fish. I stopped making my own dry fish. I found worms. I was doing they had the Russian dry fish at Barbara World Foods in Portland, Oregon. And so I had between that cheese, I had been told to do probiotics. I was getting stomach aches for probiotics. I was doing chocolate at the time, large amounts of chocolate. My weight had gone down to 128 at the lowest, 128 something. And right now I'm at 162, and this is the lowest I've been in many, many months, almost a year. Last year at this time I was 155. So I'm still 7 pounds heavier than last year, and 155 for me. I had started dating I talked about the acne and trying to get some hair oil moisturizers. So just not doing anything about the breakage and the dryness. Try to do something about it. That tastes weird. I think it's because I can smell the meat. I hope sometimes these cups. I had the same cup. I don't know. I might have had to throw it out because I took the top apart to clean the mold out of the lip, and I never could get it back together the same way. Unfortunately, because then it just continuously pours out like a spigot. Anyways, this is going to be a list. I was going to type this out, guys, so I can make a better video. Let's type it out. Let's type it out, and then I can give you guys. I was going to pull up on my iPad. I was going to make a Google Doc. I was going to put it on the iPad. I was going to put the pictures from Wikipedia of different plants. I was going to type it out so I can read it to you guys. Someone did that at one of my meetings the other day. They wrote down their story. It was kind of poetic. So I'm just going to use the word alternative. I hate using alternative medicine or complementary, or was it complementary and alternative medicine. I did research class, immunology, all that was like, research says this, I hated that term because it's like we're medicine, we're doing medicine. We're alongside, so you go to a chiropractor, you go to, and a chiropractor is more reputable than a naturopath. It's like, but we do surgeries and prescribe medications and, do everything they can. With me, at one point, I'll be able to deliver babies. Anyways, that's a different story. So we're going to start with, we're going to say foods. We're going to say raw non-vegan. We're going to say raw vegetarian. We'll say raw goat milk. Aged cheese. We're going to say raw almost vegan. So you get these leather shoes. I had the Doc Martens from 1996, I believe I keep talking about. They are pretty thick leather. There's no lining. I think the inside sole, or the foot thingy that goes in where your sole of your foot is leather. I've had those since I got them that year, 1990. I wore them regularly. I wore them when I was homeless. I wore them through multiple flash floods where I was walking through water up to my hips or even up to my shoulders. They've held out over all that when I was living in my car, my Jeep, with those 9 animals, or whatever, 7 animals, whatever I had. I had got shame on myself last week. I went to the food pantry, or the free bread place. It's expired bread, which is kind of lame, because you feel bad throwing it away when you see the mold growing on it. Or something sweet tastes like blue cheese, my partner said. I was like, I'm not so sure it's supposed to taste like that. They have this not mink coat, but they had this opossum New Zealand coat I picked up. I saw it and I just wanted to touch it because of the texture. I said, oh my gosh, it's a size large. I said, let me get something else. They had like a size 18 wool blazer type coat. I almost got that. I was trying to decide. I was like, maybe I'll get my partner. He needs another raincoat. Maybe I'll get him one. I was only gonna get one, but I wanted to grab you hate when you like grab something, you say, I like this, let me see if I can find something better, and you put it back, and you can't find the first thing, or you take a lot of time. The lady's like, you can only get one, man. And I was like, well, I might put this back, but I'm also looking for one for my boyfriend, I said, you know what, just pick the first one. My dad had said that. You ever go to the fruit, and you pick a lemon, or you pick something, and you pick the first one, and then you keep looking, but then the first one you got is the best one. I had to keep things simple, because I'm like kind of OCD about like check, double check. It's like sometimes you just pick the first one. Like if you had to go to a car lot, say the stuff hits the fan, and you got to get out of Dodge now, and you have been somewhere on a bike, and you find out the stuff hit the fan, and you need to get a car to get to your kids or to your bug out location. You're going to look at it a lot and you're going to say, oh, that one's kind of rusty. Oh, that one looks new and plasticky, but this brand is this and this brand is good for this. And you say you look at an old rusty Honda from 1980 and you're like, how many miles does that have? And they say, oh, it's 180,000. It's like, well, it's the upkeep, the muffler, the tires look good. Yeah, we just changed all that, the exhaust system. We changed the timing belt at least once and all this stuff. You're looking at that car and it has it's not that you knew the mileage. You could see a rust bucket. You could see a shiny Chevy or GMC truck or SUV sitting there, and you're going to think, oh, this little tiny Honda's going to have better gas mileage, even if it's metal and this has got more plastic. It's an American car, the one that takes more gas. So sometimes you look at it and it's like maybe your gut or your instinct or your third eye is like that would be the best car. And that's not saying that it is, because it's like lemons. You could pick 3 lemons and you come home and the next day one is all moldy. But then again, the first 2 you picked might be good, and at the store, all 100% of the rest of them could have got moldy. So you might have been lucky you knew you picked the first 2 good ones and you took a chance because you needed 3 lemons for what you're doing. So there's a lot of instinct. Bee products. This coat I've been watching Below Zero, that Arctic, the thing about people living in Alaska, the Arctic Circle or above, and they're hunting and fishing and wearing bear, and I don't know why this guy's hunting bear, but not buffalo, but moose. Like they're hunting and then they're using the skins to make the blankets for their blankets and clothing and hats and stuff. And there was one, I don't think it was the Below Zero, it was a different show that had like 6 episodes of a group of people that were in a contest, like Survivor, who last one standing. And they were also where it was cold. It was interesting because each different spot had its strength and weakness. So some people like, ooh, they gave someone a really hard spot. That's not fair, in my opinion. I don't know if they did it based on how experienced people like give them a handicap, like you're more experienced, so you get a crappier place. Or people try to fish and their whole fishing thing ends up 12 foot or 12 inches of ice. I don't know. Someone was doing like rabbits, I think. Hunting rabbits, and I don't know how. You know that Native American, the trick to Native Americans, they say, we're going to trade you this much land for $5, and then you cut that spiral, and then you stretch it out, and now you end up with acres and acres and acres, which they thought, oh, you're just going to have enough land for you to just lay your dog down on, ha ha ha, like, which the natives weren't even trying to barter land, because the land was for everybody back then. Like it was not, I believe it wasn't even a concept. Well, yeah, we'll do whatever you want, we're being nice. And then they're like, suckers. So it's that Mr. Wizard has an episode where he has that big that small piece of paper takes up the whole room. He's like, how am I going to tell you that you have, oh, there's one that says, how am I going to tell you guys that you have a small piece of paper and I'm going to have you jump through this piece of paper? Would you believe me? And the girl says, no, I won't believe you. But yeah, he cuts it in that spiral thing, and then he opens it up and he says, okay, jump in the middle. And you say, wow, amazing. So I don't even know why I'm talking like that. Oh, because someone was making rabbit or whatever. Like that. They were taking the small skins and then they were making this long thing. I think that then you can, I don't know how they were sewing it or connecting it, but then you can use that. I'm kind of thinking of the granny squares. It'd be like you make the small ones, but then you can make those into a whole thing, like a whole big blanket, right? Anyways, doesn't make sense. You take one piece of string. This is like too many analogies for me right now. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you the raw almost vegan. I'm gonna say honey. I'm gonna say bee pollen. I'm gonna say, I don't even know what the propolis is. It should be raw. I'm gonna say olive oil because it's high calorie, and if it's cold or hot, it helps you if you hot, it helps moisturize. It's cold, it helps moisturize. It keeps you, like blubber. Seals have blubber. Hot sauce is kind of shady, but that can also help. If they had horseradish, that would be something. I'm gonna put horseradish. If you have sinus pressure, I'm gonna look that up. If you can get horse. See, that's the problem. I call it horseradish. Horseradish. I had a plant I bought from Amazon so that I could make my own. I had a whole bag of mustard too, like powdered mustard. I think I threw it away. I don't remember. I wouldn't have thrown something away, but I think it got thrown away. We're supposed to make mustard packs for medicine. I hear that they burn. So there's different things. I'm going to put mustard packs next to this. So see your healthcare practitioner. The only reason I'm throwing this stuff out here because a lot of people don't know what a naturopath is, and there's unlicensed naturopaths, and they're going to do what they do. I don't know because I have a license, 3 licenses, and I went to accredited 4-year medical school, which actually spent like 5 to 6 years because I did extra stuff. Took 3 board exams for the programs that I'm doing. The simple program is two board exams, including pharmacology. I think. Wait, or is that included? So you take for Oregon. You also take an additional pharmacology and a jurisprudence exam, and you do the same thing for Washington State. You take a jurisprudence and a pharmacology exam. Okay, so you can get pre-made foods. I'm just going to put these all on one list. I'm going to say like raw wraps, dried onions. Some are good, some taste like my boyfriend got me one little pack of these onions. I think I still have some. I bought green beans for the first time. So a lot of stuff that I'm doing different things depending on how much access to the junk food. You can get a raw, like flax cracker. You can get different flavors. You can get, you can make this stuff too. You can get the sweet potato or kale chips or crackers, and then kale chips. I like my own better than buying it. There's just something weird about other people's. It's like light and fluffy. I like it like greasy, like it's a Lay's potato chip, like salty and greasy and thick. And for some reason, other people's is like fluffy and light, and they like to put dates. And even if they put nut butters, I'll say nut butters. If you like chocolate, you can get chocolates. I'll say pre-made or prepared foods. So some raw foodists wouldn't do this. So people talk about vegan. And vegan is easy because you could do nuts. I cut out nuts for a while, except for almonds, and I was gaining a bunch of weight off of sliced almonds, and then almonds for the past few years have been pasteurized. I don't think they are if you get them in the bag of Christmas nuts. I have some from last fall I need to go through. I should sprout them and soak them, put them in a dehydrator. I did read on one of these at the store, the nuts had bleach and some chemicals that they soak the nuts in. I still have the shell on. But I don't think they're pasteurized, so that's tricky. If you had your own nut tree, that would be great. So nuts, vegetables, canned and frozen. I would say produce, even if it's not. You can get mushrooms, onions. So for protein, you got beans, you got lentils. Sometimes I put those in 2 different categories, or split peas or whatever. You got the good old tofu. I do the chocolate. I do the bragg liquid aminos or coconut. You can get coconut aminos. I had a product with that. I had coconut out of my diet for a long time. I was having these sinus pressures with the coconut, tree nuts. I did pine nuts. I made like rosine cheese. I made some pesto once. That was good. The basil, the Parmesan, the pine nuts. But sometimes the pine nuts, either I keep them too long. It's like you don't know if they're like $20 a pound or $50, and they're in the bulk section or they're in a bag. Sometimes you get some bacon stuff or something like that, and it is rancid as soon as you get home. It's already been sitting. You know, the fats go bad. So you gotta. That's why I did olive oil because I lost my job. I did olive oil, sliced almonds, and I did it like fried chicken. If I was making fried chicken for the kids, I put this. You can put salt. Pepper helps absorb. I'll put pepper on there. Pepper helps absorb. Helps you absorb the nutrients, and then turmeric, and then spices. Spices have. If I went to natural medical school, I learned about pharmacology, but I also learned about herbs and spices. So herbs and spices have nutrients. So someone drinking mint tea, like, I feel good, or it's catching a cold, you drink some mint tea, that is good with some honey, tastes good, you feel pleasant, you're relaxed. But also those aromatic herbs do affect your stomach, like, it could be a bad way, it could be, sometimes mint is too cold, so it's like, aromatic herbs can help with upset stomach. So you have your culinary herbs, you have like mint, you have rosemary that can help with your thinking. So these things are just like, my food tastes good because somebody made rosemary French fries or whatever you call it, rosemary truffle French fries or something. But there's also nutritional, like my dad who once said, your mom had all them spices, all them nasty spices, they're bad for you. I was like, spices are one of the backbones of herbal medicine. It's a spice. It is a plant that's ground up. Turmeric and ginger. It's a plant that is ground up. Sometimes dried. You have onions. You have garlic granules. I have cinnamon here. Let me put that in the food. You have pepper, different types of peppers. You got sea salts. You got, I do the Redmond's real salt. It's unheated. Sea salt was it Utah? I do oils personally. I told you because of I lost my job and it's twice as many calories of carbs. So I was doing that, like making it taste like fried chicken with the spices. So put some garlic, put some onion, put some this, put some that on the kids' fried chicken, and put that on my almonds and eat it. For a while I was doing that with some little raw crackers you could get. I'd put cheese and onions sliced raw and garlic and stick that in the toaster oven. In a convection oven, you could put it on low, which was like 100 degrees or 115 degrees. So I would melt the cheese that was unpasteurized, and that was an addiction. It was probably not all the way raw. Sometimes the edges turn black on the raw cracker. So this is just an idea. If I was going to say that they said that there's going to be a bomb going off tomorrow, and that everybody needs to go to their bug out location, I would take my herbs, I would take the freeze-dried, fruit that I have, I would take the dried mushrooms, I would take as much water as I could carry, and I also take mineral water, because I have muscle spasms from a car accident, and neurological damage and other issues from the car accident, so you can take CalMag or effervescent. I used to take these things when I had the car accident. You can put the effervescent drink and take capsules, which are really expensive, like the health food brands. But I wasn't able to pay for that. If I had food stamps, I would still get the Gerolsteiner. Has a lot of minerals. Fiji water actually has a lot of minerals. So you need vitamins, minerals, trace minerals. You need certain types, sodiums, potassiums, all that stuff. And a lot of people eat fortified food. So even if you eat at a restaurant once or twice a month, you're going to have probably some kind of bread if you eat bread, or some kind of grain that, the government is going to sell cereal, and if it's not a health food brand, those old-fashioned health food brands. The cereal mainly, sometimes the whole grain, like mini wheat or frosted, not frosted mini wheats, but the big ones. Sometimes stuff like that isn't as fortified. I think maybe I can't remember. You're basically selling sterile food, and people talk about. We were talking about how bad potatoes were. I was getting my kids potato chips, but it had a whole bunch of nutrients as a junk food. It had a whole bunch of the vitamin minerals, so it's kind of like a junk food version of a multivitamin / mineral. You can't sell. I mean, the government's gonna say you can't sell milk without vitamin D in it. You cannot sell bread and cereal without it being fortified because you're selling empty food and people were getting, and stuff has vitamin C added, like orange juice with vitamin D and vitamin C added to it. You should be able to get it. The stuff gets cooked out and the land is not rotated properly and stuff stored and microwaved and all this. So you're basically selling a sterile food and they're dumping, basically splitting open a multivitamin, putting it in there. It's like formula for babies. People say, oh, if someone gave their kid some crack baby got a Coke in a baby bottle. I look at some of the Similac, like the sensitive stomach and all this stuff, and it was like basically corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, and a bunch of fillers and vitamin minerals. Like, someone could take a Coke can for calories and open up a multivitamin and gave it to the baby. Like, it might actually have less sugars, like fortified processed sugars. I mean, so let's say I had two big backpacks. I'd wear one on the front, one on the back. I would carry the herbs, the freeze-dried fruit, the dried mushrooms, water as much as I could carry. I have a lot of sea vegetables. You can eat those right out of the package. You can soak those in a broth, even if you're raw. If you're cooked, you can heat up some water. I had the old thermos. They have the bigger thermos now for soups. You put some hot water in there. You put the spices, olive oil. You put those mushrooms, the seaweed. And if you have noodles like ramen or rice, pre-made rice, or if you're raw, you can get kelp noodles, which caused me to gain weight. Something's up with that. Heck, you could cut up cucumber and put it in there. Tomatoes, garlic, herbs. If you're not cooking, if you have to travel and you're cooking, someone could smell it. So you could get some of these thermoses and do that, whether your cooked food is or raw food is. Because when you eat soup, some people like stuff steamy hot. If it's 115 degrees, a raw foodist could eat it. If it's 115 degrees, a cooked foodist would eat it. Because it's basically that perfect temperature to warm you up and not burn your tongue and not be too cold. If you're not raw or not vegan or vegetarian or not vegan, you could put some cream or some milks, some cheeses. I used to sprinkle cheeses on top and kind of give it I've never had the French dip or whatever, but I saw people that used to get that from Arby's when I was a child. I used to go with the lady for braces to get my braces fixed with her daughter up north, and I could imagine you taking some bread. We have a bunch of bread right now. I keep thinking to make croutons out of it, slice it up, cut it up, fry it up with some butter and some olive oil, and store that somewhere. I don't have the moisture absorbers really, but try to store. I don't have the food thing. But you store that. If the stuff hits the fan, you could take with you that fortified bread. If you make your own bread and you put molasses and you put like real brown sugar and you could put seaweed granules. I got a bunch of seaweed granules. I'll say bread / what did I say? Croutons. Garlic breads and stuff. So you got bread that's about to go bad. What sucks is you eat bread one day and then that night you see it moldy. You're like, oh gross, so you just ate it. But you can cut up a whole bunch of bread and make garlic bread. And I feel like that freshens it up and that cooks it and that alters it. And hopefully, if it was going to go bad, if you left it overnight, if you cooked it that night, the next day, in the next 2-3 days, you could have garlic bread and put that in the fridge. And it's got the grease, which is calories. It's got the garlic, which is antimicrobial. You can put oregano, which is also, and I got oregano pills. That's antimicrobial. I have clove oil. I just bought. It's for aromatherapy. Actually, I bought clove oil, castor oil. I got mint oil. I didn't buy pine for Christmas season. I should have, but I got a pine candle. I could light that later. I got an aloe vera. My aloe plant died. I threw it away. I didn't even try it. It would just turn into like paper thin. I got 2 for $6 or whatever. 2 for $7. I got those from Safeway. So if I carried 2 backpacks, I'd probably tie the plants onto me. They're still in the plastic. Those two. Sometimes I keep stuff in the plastic. And I would tie the small water bottles to myself, and I would try to pull. So this is a scenario. Like the stuff hits the fan, you find out that you got to bug out. I would carry some gallon waters in a cart or wagon or by hand if you have your backpack. I would still take as much cash as I had in my pocket. I wouldn't leave cash, quarters, pennies, nothing, dollar bills in my apartment. I would take some books. I have some mini books. I would take pens, paper, pad. Not too much. If you had to walk or you had to drive or you had to drive until the gas ran out or you had to run through the woods, you gotta think about that. You could take stuff like we've done when I was homeless and my boyfriend, my ex-husband, threw stuff and buried my crap in the woods or in the desert. So I had too much stuff in the Jeep. So you could take more than you want. But make sure your core items would be water and salt. In school, they do those scenarios. What if you're on a desert island and you're, getting off of a plane or a boat that's about to sink? What 5 items from this list would you take with you? So a lot of times I would say take a Bible. Salt. People say, no, if you eat salt, you're going to get thirsty and you're going to lose water. You can lose water if you have too much salt. Your kidneys will take the water to flush the salt out so that you don't get too much sodium, because that sodium, calcium, potassium, all that stuff affects the heart. So you have to be careful with those vitamins too, with those supplements. Those mineral supplements. I would take as much sweets as I could. So like honey, sweet. We have little packs of sugar in the raw. Like this is the kelp. This one's almost empty. I don't want to throw it out until it's absolutely empty. I would take essential oils. So this is the scenario. If you had something happen, you had a bomb shelter across your yard or in your barn, and you see a nuke coming, like on the day after, you run your bomb shelter and hope you have a bunch of stuff in there already, from everything from water to baby wipes, or you can get like skin wipes or makeup wipes even. I have the sanitizing herbal essential oils. Giovanni wipes. I think I'm sitting on one right now. I had some stuff I was going to put in the other car. Didn't get it out there. You got your hand sanitizers. You want to take some bleach or some water tablets, which I don't have. So this turned into food. So this stuff, you can get the smaller containers of bleach. I feel like a mule, like you strap this crap on you with straps, and I would take some rags or washcloths. You need some warm clothing. Wear it. If it's hot, if it's the middle of the night, you wear it. If it's hot out, if it's cold at night, you need to layer the tank tops and clean socks, clean dry. Of course, you're gonna take clean dry socks and underwear. I called socks underwear when I was a kid. My friend made fun of me because I'm like, they go in the drawer with the underwear. They're underwear because they're under my shoes. My other underwear is under my pants, under my shirt, like undershirts, socks, and underwear. This was made for long underwear. If you can get like little mayonnaise packets, if you have pre-made rice, we have the Uncle Ben's. I got 3 kinds. Regular needs to cook rice, semi-cooked. I think this one's semi-cooked. I don't know. And then I have some rice packets. There's some pre-boiled rice or something you can buy. They boil it. They bring it to a boil, then they dump it, and then they dry it. But you could do that to get rid of some of the arsenic. That's something if you have whole grain. Maybe you don't want to rinse it. You weigh your risk, pros and cons, risk versus benefits. So if your place was on fire or someone's raiding it and you got to run out the back door and go to a manhole cover, you're just gonna take what you have, and you might not even have shoes on. You're gonna jump out a window, or you're gonna go out the back door silently, and you're gonna run. If you have a weapon, pocket knife, any kind of knife, any kind of knife, especially a pocket knife is good because it's not gonna be open. You have a sheath knife. I would take out every knife I could find. That's the problem with my prepping. One of my motivators, which hasn't worked over the course of over 10 years. I'm not organized, so it's not like, okay, this is where the female products are. This is where the tissues and toilet paper are. This is where the essential oils are. This is where the dried rice is. This is where the beans are. Everything is all over. I used to have a pantry, and it ended up being mostly water and tools when I lived in another place. It had a lot of cabinets, so it could be a little bit organized. Like we'd do that. Red Cross, six gallons of water, or it was 3 people, 2 gallons per person per day. That doesn't have to be spring water. I do spring water, not purified water, unless it's emergency. I have distilled for the aromatherapy and the iron. If you do a different kind of water, if you do tap water, that could be used for washing. If you have pets, you need that, so you have pet stuff. I like to throw in storage bags, grocery store bags, trash bags, and Ziploc bags of all sizes. You can put your toilet papers and stuff in some of those bags, but you could use them if you catch some fish or something. You gotta stay on the run. You got a Ziploc bag inside of a garbage bag. You got that in your backpack. And your clothes might smell like fish, but you don't want them wet and flies you know what I mean? So I like to do, like, put a few snack bags and then sandwich bags, put them inside of the bigger bags. Now it's like mask. So I say sanitizer, and gloves. And even pre-COVID, you wanted that mask and gloves. You see those movies where the guy is running from somebody, or like on the Matrix where they're hiding in the walls and the dust falls on them and they're going to sneeze, and they just gave themselves away. Like, you could even prevent yourself from, getting dust in your lungs, which is damaging. I like breathing in smoke, any kind of incense. I ought to do that right now with the sage. Sometimes I create a reaction, like homeopathic. It's like it creates a reaction. I'm a woman. If I have my purse, it's like I want a flashlight. I want Band-Aids. I want some female product. How many times have I had female products in the car or my purse that say, you go in the back, oh crap, I got to be at work in 30 seconds. And you dig through your purse. You might have to go back out and find your purse and dig through it. And you might find even a light pad that's going to get you into your next break, when you might have to buy some. Because it's not like, oh, I can take a bathroom break. Oh, shoot, I started my thing. I got to go to a store and buy this, or go through my glove box. It's like, no, they are timing you. You got to be back. It doesn't give you time. I mean, if you have to go number 2, it doesn't give you time. So that's toilet paper. So as far as vegan, I'm going to say vegan plus bee products. I told you the bee products. I told you the leather. I told you about that below zero. They were wearing the furs and stuff because they're warm, because that could save your life. You wrap a baby in that. You could wrap an injured animal in that. You might be able to use it to insulate hot or cold stuff. I mean, you might be able to use the fur to keep some water warm, so that you have just enough wood from one fire. You might be able to wrap it in this opossum coat or something, and still have my Columbia man-made materials. You have the vegan, cooked vegan. You have breads, you have cereals, you have oatmeals, you have rices, you have canned and frozen produce. You can still dehydrate. You can get onion. I'm trying to keep the cooked food separate from the raw vegan or raw vegetarian. If you have vegetarian, you can get cheeses. You can get aged cheeses. You can get packs of cheeses. You know how they give you the Christmas sausage and the cheeses and the crackers? They give you the little jars of jelly. You get those like holiday boxes. There's cheeses that are shelf stable. There's Parmesan that doesn't need to go in until you put it in the fridge, or until you open it. So that would be vegetarian, no meat, but dairy and milk, or sorry, eggs. I don't know how to do eggs. You could, cookies. I ate that. I was pregnant with my son. Chips Ahoy cookies. They're fortified. They have chocolate. Chocolate has iron and other minerals. I think copper and stuff that you need. Those trace minerals that you need. That we like. You can get that tested. You can go to a naturopath and ask for these different micronutrient panels. I feel like I want to go to my nurse practitioner and say, I need a micronutrient, I need this and that. Especially they find out I was raw vegan. And someone said, oh, that's great, you do a diet that works for you. Like one doctor said that. I'm like, thank you. And it's like, someone's not even going to check to see if I'm anemic, which I have a history of anemia when I was a meat eater. Like my family ate a lot of steaks and meats and red meats and other things, Flintstone vitamins. So the raw foods, this is what I'm going to tell you, just because this is just an intro or another intro video. I'm going to tell you that there's nuts. If you do get shelled nuts, bring 1 or 2 nutcrackers. Mine doesn't work that well. Sometimes I give one away and then I kick myself because then a couple months later the other one's dull. I used to have no nutcracker and I had a rocking chair in West Virginia and I literally put the nuts on the floor and rock crunch each time I wanted a nut. That was annoying, but it worked. You know, you do what you got to do to bang them together. The walnuts. I have nuts. Even if they're pasteurized, which I don't want, you can get walnuts and stuff. A lot of times they have flour. My friend said because they flour stuff to keep the machines from getting gummed up in the factory when they're processing it. Target's nuts give me a sore throat and all this stuff. I'm at the bottom of the jar. I getting the Target brand, and I was like, oh, this is a really good container. It's got a lot of food. I don't have to keep going back to the store. So I was talking about tomatoes. I didn't say that you can make your own dehydrated or sun-dried tomatoes you could buy. They're pretty salty. You can get raw pizza crust, which I was doing. I stopped getting those. You can get raw coconut wraps. So all this stuff is like calorie rich. If you're allergic to nuts, forget a lot of stuff I'm saying. I told you I cut nuts out. So a lot of the food that I was making was just kale chips and kale chips and almonds because I had cut out coconut and chocolate, and a lot of the raw food products had coconut, tree nuts, and coconut or whatever was giving me a reaction. So I'm able to do mushrooms and a lot of stuff is substitute food. It's not just like, oh, this is a vegetarian dish or vegan dish. This is a substitute. They have coconut sandwiches that you can get. They have raw pizzas with olives. You can get sun cured or salt cured olives. And you get these pouches that are shelf stable, not having to go in the fridge. You need storage and stuff that gets wet. So if you were to get, I'll go through my crate one day on the video. Nuts, dried fruits and vegetables, freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. I do have bragg nutritional yeast, bragg liquid aminos to balance myself out. I have a vitamin D supplement, and I have herbs, spices, and condiments such as olive oil and hot sauce. And that's a lot of it. Lemon, fresh produce too. Lemons, oranges, apples. Sometimes apples can be in your fridge, I swear, or pomegranate. Sometimes they're in there, I swear, for like a year. Lemons, not so much. They just shrink down and get hard as a rock. Limes. Some of those fruits, not avocados. Some bananas, even green, I've been putting them in the fridge. As of last year, the kids complained they had too many fruit flies, probably for my bananas, and so I started putting them in the fridge. And then if you put green bananas in the fridge, sometimes you have them in there 3 weeks and they're not bad. Herbal teas. I'm drinking an herbal. I have a whole bag of I bought my pre-apocalyptic COVID. I've done this before, but raspberry leaf tea. I had a pound of raspberry leaf tea is a lot of tea. I bought another one of these. I have chamomile. I need to drink some of this at night time so I can get to sleep. I think it's a pound of chamomile tea I got from Vitamin House. That was my apocalyptic. I was also struggling to find a job. I use 7th generation cleaning products. I use 7th generation toilet paper unbleached if I can find it. I get rashes and itchiness when I use other products. Same with female products, I gotta use the organic cotton cover. Some of them have wheat in them, some of them have corn starch in them and stuff. But I try to use the name brands or whatever. There's one I think I can use always. There's one I had to buy at my aunt and uncle. They wouldn't take me to Whole Foods. So I was like, come on, or Trader Joe's. Like, they would not take me to a health food store. I didn't have a car, so I had to settle with what store they took me to get my products. So I was lucky that I picked one that didn't give me a rash. Most of them will give me 3.5 weeks of a rash on my bum and bleeding, like an eczema type rash. And the toilet paper or the female products. And so then it's like, then you use the pad for your period for like a week, and then you have 3.5 weeks of irritation. Like, that's just not okay. Like, it's not like, even if it was 5 days, that would be irritating enough, but it would take all that time to heal, and by the time it heals, you got to use another one. So I had to be real careful, especially in us hits the fan scenario. If I'm that sensitive, if I get rashes, I did finally get an EpiPen. I have goggles. I have other protective equipment. We have different types of gloves. I didn't put that on the list. Summer or winter. You got fingerless gloves. You got grip gloves. You got leather gloves. Same thing with leather. You want to buy one pair and hope they last for the next till your next 60 years of your life. You want to be able to clean yourself. You got some soaps. You got some little bits of containers where you can collect rainwater or lake water or whatever, and sterilize that and use it to take a bird bath. You can use towels, you can use them to sit on, you can use them double as a blanket, you can use it to wrap your hair if there's bugs, like mosquitoes, stuff that's trying to get to you, and you don't want to make your body hot because they're attracted to your heat and your breath, your carbon dioxide. So to end this video on prepping and different types of diets, and then I added, weapons and stuff. It's just, you can just go out, spiral out of control with this flashlights with batteries or wind up flashlights. Some of those hand powered ones are noisy, so be careful of that if you're trying to hide. People have night vision goggles. Entertainment, you can get a little book. They have stocking stuffer stuff where it's got word finds and it's got, I got a miniature jigsaw puzzle, something that doesn't take batteries, because if you're out and about and you have to be undercover, even a simple book, like, that's why I said the Bible. I'm a mini NA 12-step book. I've had many Bibles, miniature Bibles. There's a lot of stories in the Bible where you can be like you're watching soap opera, if you want to get that dramatic, if you want to just try to think about, I thought I'd think about how these people are obedient or not obedient to a higher power. Got little lanterns, hands-free stuff. Headlamps are really good. You got battery chargers, USB. Make sure you have the cords. I misplaced or lost my really good aftermarket iPad cord. It was in my purse. It's not there now, and now I have the original one is cracked. I think because it's a short cord. I sit in bed, and I think it's been tugging on it. So I couldn't find one in the grocery store, so they had lots of USB-C or USB, mini USB, so I got another one of those. Earbuds if you want. Way to charge your phone, jump start your battery jump pack for your vehicles. Some of them you can plug in. I did get a 12-volt to household adapter for the car if I had to run. My boyfriend said that it would run the battery down fast if I did plug in an appliance in the car. But, I mean, it's like if you had an RV, people have the solar power going to the lead acid rechargeable batteries. You can get solar powered. In the house, I have solar powered keychains that plug in. I've used it in my cell phone with a USB-C, or I don't know, some kind of old Samsung charger. It had a whole bunch of adapters that all got lost or stuck in melted coconut or cocoa butter that I had that sticks that you get in the black section of the Rite Aid or whatever for SPF protection. What is it? I can't even think. SPF. Very small amount, but it's something natural. It smells good. Coconut oil is good. You can eat that. It's antimicrobial. You can rub it on chafing areas, the band-aids. Um, so the other thing, because this video is so long, the other thing I wanted to just mention is pest control. Besides, people will talk about different herbs and plants that are in the wild that you can eat. Like you could chew on pine needles. It has vitamin C in it. It has nutrients in it. I learned some stuff when I was a kid growing up in Oscoda, Michigan. My mom taught base kids survival. We had some Smokey the Bear posters of edible plants from the wild, besides just what you know, blueberries and stuff. And be careful because some things look like blueberries or not. Like, what is it, Oregon grape. Some of these you can use medicinally, but it's not like you're going to eat a whole pint of them. Some of these are not supposed to do that. Or you can use it medicinally. The roots, dandelions, and what's being sprayed, what's not being sprayed, what's having animals, contaminated animals with worms, going to the toilet in that area, or wiping their bottoms. You got to be real careful about cleanliness. But pest control and sunscreen, something that repels mosquitoes, ticks, lice, treatment for that, different oils or different over-the-counters or even prescriptions if you have some left over, or you could get, if you have a refill. I got a refill on the EpiPen. I already got a refill. I think the first one I got expires really soon, so I could ask for another refill. I have some other allergy Claritin stuff I haven't used. If you have a prescription for something, should you get it? Because there might be a time where you can't get it. My boyfriend's like, don't hoard the medicine if you're not even using it. But at the same time, it may be a time where the supply goes down and then you decide that you need to use it, or you use it and you actually feel better. Like I haven't used it. I didn't use it and say, oh, it didn't work, or I felt worse. I just haven't used it because I'm trying to do natural things. But so the medicine I have to discuss another time. Over-the-counter prescription and herbal, some of that stuff like zinc is hard to get right now. Certain multivitamins that are natural are hard to get right now. Fingernail cleaners, clippers. I got brush. I got a pumice stone and stuff. You got stuff if you have blisters, comfortable things for your shoe inserts, and I got a TENS unit, so other stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about the pest control. So containers, if you have food, you got squirrels, you got mice, you got rats, you got cockroaches. Then you have the miniature things. You have bed bugs, you have lice, you have scabies, you have fleas and ticks, and then you have like chiggers and mites and mosquitoes. Of course, you got biting flies, you got horse flies, all these different kind of things that. And like we're here in this yard, there's horses down the street in this property. Those horses attract horseflies, and those things would buzz until they get you. And I had seen houseflies going on a trail, and I was like, oh my god, it's like a hummingbird, and they are relentless. They will get you. And I was literally scared to go outside for a part of summer because I had that kind of stuff in Michigan, and those biting black flies by the water, and sometimes it's like you just go in the house. But if you're out hiking, you're like, oh shoot, we're not going to get back to the car for another 40 minutes, you got to put up with it. I have some citronella and different things. My boyfriend's complaining about. I got some off. He complained about that. I got that in spring when Walgreens says you can only, actually they had BOGO on that, or buy one get one half off or whatever. And then the other items, they had band-aids, and they had some cute white gloves, like medicine stuff. Over the counter you can only get 2 products from this wall. So I had bought a couple of things like fake Neosporin. Some places in Africa can't get stuff like that. Something simple as Neosporin or band-aids or anti-itch. I don't have I think I got anti-diarrhea. I have bought some stuff at the Dollar Tree. So that you have the pests, big and small, the insects and the mammals and the other pests. And then you can have parasites you eat. You get giardia, you could eat some contaminated fish. Some of your food that you have might have something in it, or it might have spoiled, and you get a bacteria. So you got to think about that when you're out and about. It's horrible when you're in the house and you go out to the store and you go to the doctor and get something. But I do have, I told you Senna, I have the Smooth Moves, anti-constipation. You have to know how much to use, how little to use, because are you going to bring toilet paper? Are you going to be using leaves? Same thing with the plants. Or snake bites? I got a snake bite kit, but it's at the house. You got poison ivy, poison oak. Do you have something that can allow you to sleep? A compress or a salve, pain, CBD oil, all this stuff will allow you to get through your day and focus. If you're low on calories, if you're scared, if you're away from your home, if you're hiding, if the stuff hits the fan, if you're like me and you're in quarantine for 14 days, I had ordered like $500 worth of freaking food over the course of like 3 hours. I had some auto shipment from Vitacost. I had another shipment come in. I ordered because I said, oh, I didn't know that it was shipping it out today. Can I still add to it? No, I wanted this, and some supplements, some multivitamins. My boyfriend uses these type of things. If you're used to that, like I personally caught myself from caffeine, including cheese and chocolates. If they had caffeine-free chocolate, I did try once to make white chocolate without any kind of milk or milk substitute. Didn't work out too well. I think the kids threw it out. If you're used to this, if you're used to nicotine, do you have the nicotine product, the vape, the juice? Because you want your body not to freak out. If you're already freaking out, if you have kids with you, we'll talk about a kid with autism I'm dealing with today. The kid who wasn't cognitive, didn't know what was going on in the world, but the parents maintain some normalcy, calm voice. They're not, oh my gosh, I'm just so scared, have stuff hitting the fan, oh my god, we gotta put our bug out bag. Just have if you're a prepper, have your bug out bag. And I don't even have mine. I have it, then I unpack it. Or we go through a crisis, job loss, I have, something happened, I'll have a bug out bag by the door or in the closet upstairs. We got propane little camping grills and charcoal and all that stuff. Lighters, matches. I bought some matches. They weren't free, unfortunately, but I was like, I don't have the waterproof ones here. I don't have the water tablets here. That's something to think about. But if you can do this, like I said, I had stuff in a purse, but the purse could disappear, get stolen, get lost, get left behind. But let's not think like that. So you want to kind of divvy up. It's like when you're on an airplane, sometimes you divvy up your stuff. You might bring if you have to change flights, you might bring change of clothes, and because you have to go overseas. People put a change of clothes in their carry-on just in case, and a toothbrush just in case the other stuff's delayed. So you get a bug out bag, but you get yourself a duffel bag. I got some freeze-dried pears. I went to Trader Joe's. I got freeze-dried grapes. I only got one because they were good. They ended up being good. I didn't know if I would like them. Especially when you're really hungry in your car, you leave this stuff in the car. I got toothpicks. You gotta do dental care. I got the tea tree oil toothpicks, which I believe when I do some of these, I got I'll show it to you. There's the Siwak, the Al Muslim, or the Siwak you get from the Middle East. They clean your teeth with a root. So you can get things like that where you're not needing to use water to spit out and toothpaste with fluoride, which you're not supposed to swallow. You can use other forms of non-fluoride. You can. We used to give my kids, the disposable toothbrushes. So that's something you could put in a bug out bag. Just like my teeth tastes nasty right now. But you want to get a duffel bag or whatever, or backpack with your name on it or whatever by the door. I mean, you could use a trash bag or a grocery bag or just a plain box. But if you want it, what my vision is, which I need to do actually, get a duffel bag. You put yourself, if you're a woman, you can put condoms in there. Patient nurse I was watching, she had talked about birth control during stuff hit the fan. Birth control, condoms. I mean, people have the fish antibiotics and stuff. What if somebody's getting gonorrhea? You can get like pubic warts and stuff. You could get it months ago, and then you end up getting it later. You get the disease, but then it displays itself, and it can display itself during times of stress, lack of sleep, low immune, not getting enough rest, not getting enough food, not getting enough nutrients, running, sweating, wearing the same clothes, like having your body freak out, and then you're vulnerable. It's for stuff that you already have to surface, maybe for the first time, and sometimes like herpes or something. That first time would be intense. Do you have medications for stuff like that? You could have something you don't know you have. You could go out and sleep with somebody, or something happens, and you're just like, oh, we're still human, you know. Get pregnant during stuff hits the fan. If I got pregnant during stuff hits the fan, part of me is like, that's a miracle from God. But at the same time, you gotta think about running around. If it was a civil war or some crazy martial law, you have a baby crying, that's going to give you away. So you might want to save yourself. If it came to that where they're going to confiscate you, put you in this so-called female concentration camps with the female body bags that they talked about, preppers talked about for many years, and the secret camps with the road signs. Look up these videos, the road signs that have on the back of them these numbers and symbols that mean that there's certain camps so many miles away. And now they're talking about female and trying to put the bodies in the body bag from the hospital, and the funeral homes are full, and all that, putting them in refrigerated trucks. So get yourself a bag by the door. You put some tissue. We got miniature tissues. Some of this stuff seems like you don't need it, but you got tissues, you got a roll of paper towels, you got some bags, you got those change of socks, underwear, change of clothes, wool, sweaters, undergarments, bra. People say, don't wear a bra, it's bad for you. Some women will say, they try to sell it at Victoria's Secret, well, you want that support, you want that coverage. You want it to work 18 hours a day because your boobs are making your back hurt. So you might have to be walking around with your boobs, you wearing that bra or sports bra. Sports bra can help if you've gotten stuff tied to you, so you're not bumping into stuff with your breasts, you know. Teas, you got stuff to keep you awake, stuff to calm you down, camomiles. You put a few things in a bug out bag, so if you got a call right now that someone says that martial law is happening, the tanks are coming down the street, get to you, get out, drive north as fast as you can. Your friend calls you, you're still on the phone, you grab the bag, slip on your shoes, and you're out the door. You didn't have time. Your prep's already in bed. Maybe you have weapons. If you have a purse or your wallet and stuff that you should take with you on a daily basis, hopefully that's by the door. Your keys. You might not have time to get your social security card. In fact, mine's in my iPad case. I was looking for that all day yesterday. Social security card, birth certificate, passports. Do you have that stuff handy? That stuff should be by the door anyway, in case there's an emergency, in case something happens to you. You get stranded somewhere, you say, oh, tell your neighbor, I'll hire a locksmith, I'll send you my key, I'll send you a copy of my key, go to my house, there's a folder by the front door, grab my important papers and give it to me. If you could get it uploaded on a cloud, I have stuff uploaded on clouds that's disappeared. So I don't know, you might accidentally erase your Google Drive, so maybe email something to yourself to a couple different accounts. It's not secure. Your social security number card, passport picture, birth certificate is not secure. You want to have that firebox if you were to leave and come back with copies, or a safe deposit box you might not be able to get to, especially on the weekend. Even if the banks aren't closed down, people are, oh, you have to make an appointment to get your safe deposit. You might need your rent money for today, and you might not be able to get in there until next week or next month. Copy of your insurance documents, what are you about your car registrations, titles. We got my DEA I was able to find. You guys saw me do that. I have my medical license copies. I have stuff that's no longer being sent that they give you access over emails. So there's a lot of different things. If your profession, are you like me? I'm a doctor, and I also work for the government with 4 different government jobs, 3 different government jobs. Am I an essential worker? Is there going to be a roadblock for COVID so you can't pass here anymore? You can't go from this state to the next. What if I want to see my kids? Well, I'm licensed here, I'm licensed there, I'm licensed there. I'm a doula. Maybe that could get me in. Maybe I could. What if it's a lie? What if you say, oh, we need somewhere warm to go? Get on Facebook. Does anyone need a doula in such and such hospital? We may need to use your doula credentials to get into a hospital. Or you might, it would be a lie, but you might use your doula credentials. I have a client that I'm meeting here. She's on her way right now. I need to sit in the waiting room. get out of the rain and snow if your car broke down. Like that would be a lie, but it could be a pass to bring anything that says you're essential worker. If you're working for the post office, if you're working for the census, if you're working for a county, if you're a healthcare practitioner, if you're a contractor, if you're something, anything, you have a home business where you're walking dogs, check and see if you could print up the name of your business on a piece of paper and write yourself. You're the only employee, write yourself a note that says I'm an essential worker. Because you don't know the scenario. People laugh at those prepper TV shows. Electromagnetic pulse. Can you get an old two-way radio that might not be wiped out? It's a digital or radio Faraday cage. Are you going to have mechanical? Can you get a mechanical like old truck from the 50s or 40s? The mechanical vehicle that people store their property, fix them up. And then the last thing, if you take your car, if you're walking, I would take some tools. I would take a siphon. You might have to siphon out gas. I would take as many tools as you could carry. You can get miniature tools. We got some from the Dollar Tree. I don't know, some of this crap I told you that fall apart, like my flashlight. You would take as many tools. Now, say you're on foot, or if you're on a bike, you want tools. Say you're on foot, and say you come across some trash, a waste in the woods, and there's some grills, or there's some old electronics, or something you could fix up. I mean, there could be like a abandoned hunting cabin. It's not legal, but you might, sometimes they're shared property, you might have to pick the lock and get in there to keep yourself alive. Now, I'm a doctor. What if I have to, even simple as CPR or first aid, do I have the protected COVID or no COVID? Do I have the stuff to protect me from their spit and vomit, and protect them too from mine? You got babies being born. I know how to deliver babies. Someone had to give mouth to mouth and they had a cold, but it was, do I go upstairs and they didn't have time to the student forgot to put the bag and mask up, the sterile thing up. So she said, do I wait for the student to go find that thing, or do I do mouth to mouth and save that baby's brain right now? Save that baby's life right now. Sometimes you have to think about, and being organized. If you have cargo pants with pockets, it weighs you down. Make sure you have a belt. Sometimes I have these jeggings on. You put your phone in the back pocket, and they're too. I got extra large. I'm between a large and extra large right now. I might have gone down to a large because I lost 10 pounds, but it's one of those things. I bet you the truck is out of commission because I'm in quarantine. I bet you we're not sharing the truck right now. Oops. Oh well. I'm gonna go. This is a really long video, but I want to make a list of very common North American plants that are edible or can be used, like mullein, or plantain. The plantain that's the strips, or the round ones with these kind of veins on them. Those you can chew up and put in a wound. I've done that. Silica is inside of is it called a horsetail? I call it the Indian paintbrushes, the one you can take apart. That has a lot of silica in it. Oh, that's good for men's health in general. You can pull those apart. Their teacher said to put them in a paper bag and shake it up and stick your hand and see what that silica feels like. I gotta go. I don't have much time for myself right now. About a half an hour left for my boyfriend's home. But this was not a quick video. But it's prepping, and I'm a naturopath. And when I listen to other people talk about full spectrum survival, lemon balm, I had bought the plant. I had bought the seeds, I mean. Oh yeah, it's seeds. In the house, out of the house, bug out, bug in, find a new location. I had bought a bunch of seeds during COVID, the beginning of COVID, and I gotta find them. They were in my drawer, in my underwear drawer, like gold. I got tomatoes, marigolds. Some bugs don't like the smell of marigolds. And then you can eat, like you could grow chamomile and lemon balm. It's a relaxant. And lemon balm is also used for cold sore and herpes. It's an antiviral. Elderberry, I got elderberries. There's all kinds of stuff. Bye, guys.